It's my pleasure to introduce Matthew Barnhill.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello to all of the proud parents, friends, and faculty members who are here today, and a big congratulations to the graduating class of 2013. I'd like to thank Dean Linway and Dean Gupta for inviting me here today. Definitely wonderful to be back on the campus of Michigan State University and to speak with you. I also want to congratulate all of the honorees who were inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma earlier. As a former chapter president, I'm very pleased to welcome you into the organization. It's such an honor to be asked to give this year's commencement speech. Though I'm going to try to live up to one of my all-time favorite proverbs, "Blessed are the brief, for they shall be re-invited." And I also realize as they're setting up the cash bar, I'm the one holding you up from that, so we got to go. So when I sat down to think about what I wanted to say, I'm going to be honest, I was very intimidated. I started thinking about your expectations of what the perfect speech would be. I'd have to come up with something profound and wise about life and work and family and carrying the responsibilities of them all. Then I tell you what it all means and what your future will hold now that you've graduated from this amazing university with an MBA. I would dispense sage advice about how to avoid life's pitfalls and disappointments, on and on and on. So you can kind of see why I was nervous, right? So I'm not going to go that route. The truth is, you really cannot know what's ahead, and I'm not sure that you would even want to know what's around your own private bend, even if you had access to a magic crystal ball. Life from this point on is about managing change, about moving gracefully with the passage of time, which can be so relentlessly fast that it can catch you off guard. Of course, change is inevitable and exciting. Just look at the incredible advances in my area of concentration, market research. When I graduated from the Broad School in 1994, cell phones were actually used for talking. You spoke into them and then you hung up. They were certainly not entertainment consoles. They weren't ways to collect data about consumers or ways to gather information, or for some of you, myself included, a way to satisfy your addiction to Candy Crush. There were no iPads, no smartphones, and in fact, 95% of all market research was collected via in-mall intercepts or through snail mail, or by calling someone during dinner on a landline to ask them for just 45 minutes of your time. And believe me, you've not lived a full life until you've been on the receiving end of an obscenity-laden phone call in your ear. So the truth is that you've all been remarkably well trained by this very university to leap into or continue a successful professional career. But if studying and memorizing the mechanics of business were all that you needed to bring success, we would all be handed the keys to the kingdom on graduation day instead of a degree. Now, obviously, there's no proper course for corporate superstardom. And you've probably already guessed, there's no silver bullet. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things that have very little to do with Excel, PowerPoint, business plans, or calculating net present value. Rule number one, look beyond the conventional to form strategic alliances with people who can help your career. But here's the kicker. Many of your real career influencers will turn out to be the not so obvious people who can and will help you. So a little bit about my background. I grew up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., where both of my parents were school teachers, and they're over here, so wave, Mom and Dad, hey. And my godmother is also a school teacher in the area, so she's here with me. I brought my own cheering section. So they moved around from school to school within their district. And on the first day of arriving at a new school, my mom would find two people to befriend: the principal's administrative assistant and the janitor. Now, my mom really worked on building a friendly relationship with these two. She even baked brownies for them. She played hardball. But she knew that those two people would help her learn the ins and outs, not only of the school, but the personality quirks of the people with whom she would work. You see, being a good and effective leader is about learning the best way to manage up and down. So make it your first order of business to bond with those folks who will be the information gatekeepers within your department and your company. Don't just concentrate on the perceived power players, because there's a lot of power at different levels. And I encourage you all to learn these people by the end of your first week in your next roles. My second bit of advice: build your own personal board of advisors. Over the course of my career at Procter & Gamble and now at Viacom, I've grown close to people in various industries who are at various different levels of leadership. Whenever I have concerns or I need to talk, I've looked up former colleagues, college professors, other B school alums, people from networking events, and asked them for their unvarnished opinion. Now, the word unvarnished is key. You always want honest, straightforward advice about how to navigate the tricky corners and the good times. For those people who have an official, find those people who have an official or unofficial interest in furthering your brand, because you are a brand. Look closely for those influential sponsors who can advocate for you behind closed doors. Another important lesson: do the thing that really scares you. Take the assignment that you don't think you can do, whether it's offered to you or you have to ask for it. About 3 years into my tenure at BET Networks, my manager went on an extended maternity leave. And in her absence, she left me to manage the corporate marketing department, which included corporate communications, on-air planning, creative services, which is our in-house ad agency, and off-channel marketing. Now, I need you to understand, and they know, I really did not want to do this thing. I wanted to say no, because I'm a researcher. You have your left brain over here and your right brain here. I'm here, okay? I'm a researcher. I deal with numbers and data. That's where I feel most comfortable. Yet suddenly, I was running our in-house ad agency. I produced campaigns with A-list actors, singers, and comedians, in addition to doing my regular day job. But looking back, I credit this as my most valuable professional learning experience, because it gave me the opportunity to learn about and integrate different disciplines. As an aside, I did get an Emmy nomination out of it, which is kind of cool because I don't know how many other researchers have one, and certainly nothing I had ever thought I would have. But in hindsight, you can be very good at something that you've never focused on and may have discounted because it exists outside of your comfort zone. Look for what you're afraid of and move towards that. Tackle your personal fear of failure, and you'll often be rewarded for taking the chance. The last thing I'll leave you with is a personal mantra that has helped me a great deal over the years. Treat people nicely, especially your team, and especially your top performers. It simply pays to be decent. No harm will come to you from being cordial or fair. But you'll be surprised how many business people do not know this lesson. By being in tune with and supporting your staff, they will support you. Speaking of teamwork, I'm reminded of my orientation on the first day here at the Broad School in August 1992. I don't know if you guys experienced something similar, but our very first welcoming event was an off-site obstacle course. We were told to wear jeans or sweats, old sneakers, and bring plenty of bug repellent. We went about 30 miles out in the middle of nowhere, and we went through this crazy boot camp where we crawled through mud and climbed over walls, and we realized we basically had to work together to make it through the camp alive. Afterwards, I walked back into the lobby of Owen Hall, the graduate dormitory where I was staying. I was dirty, my pants were ripped, there was blood on my ear, and I was pooped. But now I see what the exercise was. It was a metaphor for what the work world is really like. You learn how to solve problems, how to beat your fear, how to communicate with your team, to encourage and lift your people over the high fences, and then you live to fight the next day. Thank you so much for having me here today, and congratulations on your success, and I look forward to hearing amazing stories about your achievement in the future. Good luck to everyone.